Today, I want to ask you an interesting question. What are you doing or building that makes the other guy look good? We far too often focus on our own stuff, whether it's our business, our personal life. How can we look better? How can we look cooler? How can we grow our status? And we find a lot of times that using that mindset doesn't quite get us to where we want to go as quickly as we want to go. And it's because the actual key to all of this business stuff, all of this, being better in our personal life actually has more to do with what we make the other person feel like. And so today, that's what we're going to focus on. How audience-first marketing can help you grow your business, can help you have more success in your personal life, and how if you start focusing on the other guy and you start thinking a little bit differently about how you're putting messages out there to the world, you can get massive, massive growth in a very short amount of time. Let's dive in. Let's do it.
You're listening to the Serial Progress Seeker podcast. My name is Dr. Ben Adkins, and I want to take you behind the scenes and show you how I built a multi-million-dollar digital internet business and how I'm turning that entire business into something that I can take with me anywhere, inside of a backpack. Let's get started with the show.
So it's an interesting topic today, and it's something that I've had to struggle with over the years because I have been very growth focused the entire time that I have been in business, as I'm sure you have. And you know what? I'm not just growth focused in business. I'm always trying to figure out how I can communicate with people better, how to get better results in social settings. When I talk to people there's people that I like out there and I want to have better relationships with them. How can we make that a reality? And I think the natural tendency that we all sort of go through is we want to be someone that looks cool. We think that, we're going to pull these levers, quote unquote levers in our lives, and it's going to make us look better. When the real key to all of this, whether we're talking about success in personal relationships or success with growing your business, is to focus on this thing called audience first marketing. So that's what we're going to go through today. So let's talk about this. If you look closely, if you look really, really closely, I study marketing and personal interactions really, really closely, and it's a big thing for me. And if you look closely, you'll find that the stuff that seems to catch on the quickest in this world is the stuff that makes someone feel more comfortable in their own skin. And what I mean by that is what makes someone feel like they're doing okay. I think far too many times we're very, very hard on ourselves. We're very tough on, the way we're living our lives because life can be hard sometimes. And so it's real easy to get down on yourself. And so the things that we tend to gravitate towards are the things that really make us feel like we're doing okay. So let's think about this real quick before we get into the bulk of examples of what audience first marketing is and how you can use it. We all know that the reason someone buys a product is because that product benefits the audience in a greater way than the money they would keep if they hadn't spent money on the product. So if they had, they've got money in their pocket, the benefit of owning the product has to outweigh having the money in your pocket. Otherwise, you're not making a sale. And that's good. We understand that our product has to be amazing. It has to benefit our end audience, whether that is you're actually selling a product or, you're actually, getting people to take an action. So one of the things that I think we miss too often is we forget that our marketing is, which is the thing that happens before we make a sale, should also be focused on giving the audience a return on investment. Okay. And what I mean by that is you want to give them a return on their time. So if we're paying attention to your Facebook ads, paying attention to you speaking on stage, paying attention to your podcast, they have to be getting a noticeable benefit that is something that they can take with them. So for example, and we're going to get into some more examples in a minute, but the reason you probably listen to this podcast is not because you think I am this all-knowing, all-wise person. The probable reason that you listen to this podcast is because it makes you think something a little deeper about some of the things that are already in your head. And then you can turn those deep thoughts into real conversations and real actions in your own life. And so it's less about what Ben said, and it's more about what you can take from this and turn into a thought that's substantial to make yourself look better. And that's hard to say you want to make yourself look better, but we all do. Just get over it if you think that that's a bad thing. But you want to have something that comes out of this podcast that makes you feel like you got value from it that you can take into your own life and lift yourself up and hopefully lift others up. So that's the thing. everything that we do, if I did this podcast in a way it was supposed to make me look smart, no one would want to listen because nobody cares about whether I look smart, whether I'm good at what I do. They care about what they can take from it. And I know that. So here's the thing that actually happens all too often in our marketing, whether we're talking about a one-on-one relationship with somebody that you meet in a bar or in a restaurant or at the library, or if we're talking about like actually getting up on stage and speaking to a group of people, a Facebook ad you put out there. Far too often, we're super focused on it being about our accolades, what we've done. We're the best at something. We won this award because we're good at something. Now, there's nothing wrong with awards. There's nothing wrong with telling people about your rewards, but it can't last just at that. And in one of the industries that I work in, one of the big things people do is they hold up these big awards that they've made so much money. They belong to a certain club. They make so much money doing this one thing. And it's something that, like, anytime I see that, I'm like, they're very focused on them. They're not real focused on the other people. And so that's the thing. I think we also see other people, sort of holding up their awards. And in their marketing, we think that that's what we should be doing in our marketing. And what's so interesting is that doesn't work. If it works in the short term to get people excited about what you're doing, typically those are the worst kinds of people to attract to your business or to your life, the people that are attracted to the silly little awards. What's really big about how you communicate with someone else is this. The actual secret is what I call audience first marketing. What are you doing to make your audience, the person you're talking to one-on-one, the person that you're talking to for your business because you want to sell them your software, you want to sell them information products, you want to sell them what you're doing. What are you doing also in your marketing that makes them look 1,000 times better than before they had seen what we've got? And so I want to kind of give you some examples here, what audience first marketing actually is. Because like I said, it's really easy to understand what a product benefit should be and how that should make their lives easier. But how do you actually craft an advertisement or marketing that makes someone feel better? So let's talk about this. There's really three big things that I focus on in audience first marketing. The first one is we want to give people a result in advance. If you can put together marketing that right in the ad, it gives people a result, you can really bring people in to you, because not only can this result help them get rid of whatever problem they have, whatever thing you're teaching them, but it can also be something that they spread to someone else that can make them look great. And then that we can start a conversation, they can give their feedback. So just to give you an example of this, kind of results in advanced marketing. One of the things that I used to do when I had a chiropractic office and I wanted to get people in and help them with their headaches is I would teach them how to get rid of their headaches. Now that may seem counterproductive. Why would I teach them how to get rid of their headaches if I wanted them to come in for their headaches? Very simply, if they believe that what I am doing gets them a result, then they are good. Also, here's the other thing. If I get someone a result and they don't come into my office, but they teach someone else the thing that I taught them, and then they say, well, this chiropractor, there was a video that he posted online that taught this, that's getting my business out there too. And like I said, the idea here is how do we make our audience look better and have a better result before they even come in right from our ad? So here's what it was in the chiropractic office. And I want you to do this right now so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. I would talk to people on the radio or online, and I would talk to them about how they could get rid of their headaches. So a lot of the people that I was targeting was people that were sitting in a computer all day and they would have issues with headaches. And a lot of those were tension headaches. And so the idea was there was an exercise there to give them. And I want you to do this exercise at home so you can kind of see how this was put together. I would tell them, take your thumbs. Okay, so we got our thumbs pointed out and you just point your thumbs up like you're giving a Fonzie thumbs up, right? Now, with that thumbs up, drop your arms to your sides. So straight down to your sides, let them loose. Now I want you to take your thumbs and both thumbs, I want you to go outward. So rotate outward until you're pointing at the back of the room. Okay, now hold that there. Starts to hurt a little bit, but point in the back of the room. And then I want you to lift your head up. And I'm doing it right now too, so you can hear me. Lift your head up and look at the ceiling. You can close your eyes while you do it. And you want to stretch, feel a stretch kind of underneath your chin. And hold it. And from there, I want you to hold that for about 10 seconds and then come back. Now, for every hour that you are at a computer, I want you to do that for 10 seconds during the day. So every hour during the day you're at a computer, take a break for 10 seconds and do that exercise. What will happen is you will see a drastic reduction in tension headaches. and things like that. Now, that's a results in advance sort of an example, and you can do that, and if it helps you, great. But that's some of the marketing that I used to do on the radio. I used to teach that. I used to do that in YouTube videos where I would show people how to do that, and it got me a lot of people to come in because we got a result in advance. But also, it got people to come in that were just... they had gotten rid of their headache way back, and then they had a low back issue, and so they came in to see me then. The idea was we gave them something first. It was audience first. Now, that's just one example. It's not really the grand scheme of things here. The second one is give them a reason to brag about themselves. If you can put out some sort of marketing that gives people a reason to brag about themselves, you're going to get a lot of attention for your thing. A perfect example is this. I worked with a restaurant a while back that the restaurant's whole thing was they wanted to get more people in for their lunchtime. So a little bit before lunch every day, we would post, something about here's the latest special, whatever we've got. But we wanted something to post a little later in the day too. And so one of the things that was really successful, and we've used this in countless clients since then, is the restaurant would post a picture of their food. And then in the kind of the headline on Facebook, they would post something to the effect of this: tell us what you're great at cooking at your house for dinner or for lunch. And so what would happen is an ad before that was just an ad for a sandwich or an ad for a steak, that would put out there and it would get some hype. What we would do is on that image, what are you great at cooking? This is what we're great at. What are you great at cooking? And then, like I said, we'd type it in the status update too, and we'd have all these people that would have just zoned past the ad beforehand starting to comment at what they're great at cooking. And of course, if you know how online marketing works, especially on social networks, especially Facebook, when you get that sort of interaction, that's the kind of thing that pushes your ad out to more people for a lot cheaper, by the way. So the idea is we got a lot of people paying attention to our brand by asking them what they were good at. And what this is what we call audience first marketing, because, hey, here's our thing. That's cool. But what are you good at? And it gives people an excuse to brag. Okay, so that's sort of the second thing is not, the first was results in advance. We give them something they can use privately. They get something. It's all about them. It's all about their thing. The second is, how do you give them a way to brag online? Now, the third one is what I would consider probably the most important thing in terms of getting business. And this is something I used in my online marketing business probably since 2 years ago, but we use it all the time now. Everybody out there, when I'm selling products online, I usually sell information products or software. Everybody's trying to grow their thing. If you find people that are on Instagram and they're posting a lot, they're trying to grow something. If you find people on Facebook that are posting a lot, it may just because they like to talk about what they're doing, but they're trying to get something out of it. Anybody that's active on social media is trying to get something out of it, and they do get something out of it if they continue to post a lot. And so the idea is I would go on Instagram and I'll, in my profile link, I have either a link back to like my latest podcast that I want people to listen to, my website, or a specific product. Okay. So if you go to my Instagram right now, there's a link to something that I want you to go see. Now, the key is just what I would do on Instagram every day before I would wake up, for real wake up. We have kind of wake up and for real wake up. Kind of wake up is like when you're sort of halfway there. For real wake up's when you get out of bed. So before I for real wake up, I'm kind of awake. I'm spending 30 minutes or so in the morning on Instagram, and I'm searching for different things. So I'll type in some sort of hashtag, and I'll do it in the search. I'll look for certain people that are doing certain things. And what I'll do is I'll go look at their profile. And on their profile, I'll look and see, hey, what are they doing that's cool? And I'll go on that image and, in their profile, I'll look at one of their images and I'll say, hey, I love this. It's awesome. And after I comment on something very specific that I think they're doing well, then I'll try to add them. I'll follow them. Okay. And what ends up happening is this: all day on Instagram, you've got people, or on Facebook too, on Twitter also, you've got people that are trying to push out their own agenda to get other people to pay attention to them, and not many people do because everybody's trying to do their own thing, right? So the idea that you go in and you actually acknowledge something that they put effort into and you give them the accolades that they're after means they're going to pay attention to you. And I tell you, just about every time I do this, and it happens daily because I do this before I get up in the morning. This is part of my routine. Every day that I do this, I get people that are replying back to me, adding me, they're following me. And what's so interesting about it is I know for a fact, because I have stats on this, they go to my profile, they click through to the link, and we make sales that way too. The idea is they're out there, they are pushing their thing. not as many people notice their stuff as they would like. Doesn't matter how big you get on one of these social things. You always want more people to realize what you're working on and what your thing is and what you're after. And so the fact that you go in and make a really courteous comment is going to get you noticed. And it's because instead of me just pushing stuff out on my Instagram, brute force trying to get people to pay attention to me, I'm acknowledging other people. I'm audience first. Now, a lot of my products are very much focused on helping people to do things like that and to grow on the internet. So it puts me in a good position. But that's the thing. That's what I want you to think about. How can you do those three things? How can you focus on your audience and really giving them a benefit instead of just making money or getting attention? How can you give them a result in advance? How can you do like what I did with my headache exercise? How can you give them a result in advance? Number two, how can you give them a reason to brag on themselves? Have them post their websites. Hey, where's your website? You have a website, you have a blog, post it below. Tell us why it's awesome. Hey, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite way to cook things? Post a picture of your best breakfast meal, something that's, that they can put out that shows what they're doing. And then finally, number three, make them feel like someone else actually sees them. So do like I do on Instagram every morning. Get on, go compliment someone else, what they're doing. And I guarantee you, when you do that, when you give something sincere to someone, they're going to start to notice you and they're going to start to follow you because people won't forget the way that you make them feel. And that's the core tenets of audience first marketing. So like I said, I hope that this is something that gets you thinking a little bit differently. Too often we get super focused on just the product side. Hey, my product gives this benefit and it's awesome. But then we get into our marketing and we're talking about our product and how awesome it is and how awesome we are and why they should listen to us. And we don't focus on how we can help the person on the other end either get a result quicker or get what they want quicker. And it may not be that result. It may just be, hey, they want to be seen. They want to be noticed. And so that's the idea. With this, how are you focusing in your marketing on putting your audience first instead of yourself? And if you start thinking of that way, you're going to have a lot more success. You're going to go more viral. You're going to see a lot more interaction because people get to build themselves up. And that's what people like to do. People like to talk about themselves. People like to get results fast. You're competing in a high attention pulling world. And the way that you win is by making sure that you give your audience a way to lift themselves up before they ever make a purchase. All right. I hope this makes sense. I hope that you got some good ideas from this today. Make sure if this helped you, you leave a review for me on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And like I said, if you want show notes, you want to learn more about what we're doing, you can always go to serialprogressseeker.com. And if you want to just talk smack, make sure you go there too. That's where I'm hanging out. You can leave me a comment. Tell me something that's going on. You dig this? Subscribe. I love it when you subscribe because that lets me know we're doing a good job. And more importantly, that's going to get you the latest episode every single week when we come out with a new one. All right. I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope that you start really thinking about audience first marketing, how you can put that into play with whatever business you have. And I'm excited to hear what are your results with this as you get going. So let me know. All right. So I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this one and I'll talk to you soon.